So this is a crazy story here. So General Motors has basically had record sales of all of their most profitable vehicles, and they're losing record amounts of money. They're just hemorrhaging cash. It makes no sense, but that's the world we live in. Stay tuned. Quick snapshot of everything that's going on. GM, just in the United States alone, sold basically 750,000 vehicles in the past quarter, and the vast majority of those vehicles are huge, massive profit ones, like the Silverados, like your Suburbans and Tahoes, not little guys like this, a Equinox EV. But even this thing was up 1,600%, right? They've sold 1,600% more of these. And they are down just crazy amounts. So their revenue, right, overall, it's down just 1.8%. So they're earning a ton of money, but they're losing so much of it, right? So their net income is down to $1.9 billion. So that's 35.4% from the same quarter, in 2024. And their adjusted earnings before taxes and interest is down 32%. Their net income margins are down another 4%. The adjusted margins are down another 6%. And what is the worst offender here, numbers wise, is their operating cash flow, folks. Like, it is just nuts. Their cash flow went from $5.3 billion, right, last year at the same time, to $2.4 billion. They're up, down almost 47%. So overall, financial performance is atrocious. And what are they claiming? Well, tariffs, of course, right? Like, it's the old excuse, but this is just business incompetence, in my opinion. That is a beautiful color, though, that cypress green in the Silverado. I do really like that. And yeah, and although I've also had massive amounts of quality issues too, right? Like huge recalls. My sister owns one of these. And at 2,000 miles, she's got the 6.2 liter in her Silverado. She had to get the freaking lifters replaced, right? The engine was about to seize. 2,000 miles, folks. And she's had probably 5 separate electronics issues and a rough shifting transmission, like having a really difficult time going into four-wheel drive. I mean, just massive problems here. And what can GM do about this? Well, they claim that their investment in the EVs, like these Ultium batteries, has cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. And I believe they were expecting all sorts of energy grants, and they had gotten some from the previous administration, but of course that's all changed, and the government is getting out of the EV business in the United States, at least, and Canada, to be honest with you. So they're not getting their welfare support from your tax dollars. In my opinion, that's a great thing, but they had leveraged their business on that, these expectations. They claim that they're going to take about a $5 billion hit in 2025 just from tariffs, right? So you got 60,000 MSRP for a LT1. I didn't know that they even made an LT1 for trucks. I thought that was just a Camaro, right? Not cheap vehicles by any means. Almost 67 grand. That's nuts. I did find a cheap truck, kind of cheaper than most anyways. So here we've got a 2-wheel drive Colorado work truck, right? There's not much going on here. This is supposed to be the entry level, right? Just basic, what you need. And you're up north here, like 2-wheel drive in Minnesota is just not going to sell at all. So you might find yourself a deal, right? Some of you folks like me who live in the South probably come up here and negotiate a lot better price than you could in your home market. So what do we have? Well, you got the 2.7 Duramax, which is a great engine. It is. I really like it, especially in this vehicle. I don't like it in the Silverado. The base MSRP, 31,900. That's still a little high for what you're getting. And you got trailering package and some other stuff. I mean, decent, these are decent options. But at the end of the day, you're still 34 grand, and then you got your destination charge, 35,000 bucks, after you, right? So US Canadian parts, 49%, Mexico 25%, and a lot of that is in Canada. GM invested heavily in Canada, and that's proven to be not the wisest move. They've got a really solid truck sales market, right? And it's a major lifeline, huge profits, but I don't get it, right? Like, the sales momentum is massive. These vehicles are selling better than ever before, but they just can't seem to get their costs and spending and just manufacturing under control to where they're basically losing money producing vehicles. It's critical that they turn this around, right? So having a cash crisis basically going on, if they continue to do this for like the next 3-4 quarters, General Motors is going to be in terrible condition, folks, like just god awful. And they'll be knocking on your door, right, for another bailout, of course. It's 70,000 bucks for a LT Trail Boss. Nice truck, but I'm not paying that kind of money for it. Not at all. Oh, and another thing, right, these heavy duties, they're up 25%. And these things carry a massive price tag. These are work truck trims, though, so 55 grand for that one, honestly, is not that terrible, to be perfectly straight with you. You got that 6.6 liter in there with the Allison transmission. I mean, okay truck. But again, you're still paying 60 grand, so I don't know. So folks, do you think General Motors can turn this around and get their spending back on track, start actually making money, stop investing more in these EVs and maybe try to streamline some of their production in the United States? I know that they have the manufacturing capacity to build vehicles without tariffs, but they really farmed a lot of that out overseas and tried to go the cheap route. I could foresee this situation getting worse because the economy is kind of getting worse, but people, man, they're still spending a ton of money on vehicles, especially expensive ones. Suburbans, Silverados, Tahoes, etc. They're not cheap, and people are buying them like crazy, so this makes no sense. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.